Hi guys, today what we're going to be doing is something very important. We're going to be discussing the 2112 Digitech Studio Guitar System and how to back up the system and bulk part of the system exclusive data. So this is basically backing up your system and all your patches. You can individually back up each patch if you wish and send it back to the unit, but I'll show you that in a bit. But right now we're more concerned about, because the unit being older, you want to make sure you have a backup of all the data that's in there. So here's what we're going to do. The discussion. We need an interface, USB or FireWire, USB 3. It must support system exclusive transfers. The cheaper $20 interfaces do not do that. Be very careful. Okay, so make sure you check with the manufacturer to make sure that the bus on that unit, the Midi bus, supports the transfer of system exclusive data. It's very important, or you won't be able to do this. So, further ado, here's the interface that I have and have had for many years, since 2005. And the interface is an Edero FA101, and it does support system exclusive. Okay, we have the MIDI in and out going to the Digitech underneath here, and the FireWire here going to this desktop. Okay, so in this desktop we have Midiox. Okay, this is what we're going to be using to transfer the files. Now we also have RP Edit here, which is a librarian to edit the patches live from the unit back and forth, so we don't need to be physically at the unit. But right now we're concerned about backing the system and the bulk. There's two things you got to understand about the 2112. We're going to go back to the 2112 here, and we're going to go to Utilities. Okay, hit the Utilities button. It says Output Stereo. So we're going down onto the menu here. I'm just going to go back reverse so it's faster. And we're going to go to an option here. Now, this here, System Exclusive Dump User Program, this is for individual program dumping, okay? So, that's not what we want. What we want is system and bulk. So, you're going to keep going down the menu to get to this menu, 7. On page 7, you have System Exclusive Dump, and it says bulk and system. I'm going to explain the two differences. The system dump is different. It's just for system settings. Program, bypass utilities, assignments, that kind of thing. What you want for all the patches that you have is the bulk that will transfer the patches. The system will not transfer the patches, just to make sure you understand that. So what we're going to do first, since I always back up these two anyways, we're going to go to system. I want to do the system first, then the bulk. Now I'm going to show you how this works and how to set this up properly. So we have system, okay? We're going to focus on that one first. So we'll go back to the computer. And the first thing you got to do, which is something that nobody discusses, is you need to go to configure buffers. So go to options in Midiox, okay, and click configure buffers. Go to options, configure buffers. What you're going to do is set the buffers to 128. If you put 256, you're going to overwhelm the bus, okay, and you're going to have a crash importing back the system exclusive data on the unit, because the unit is older, it doesn't have too much memory, okay. So you have to set it to 128 if you have the 2112 or the 2120, okay. Make sure it's set numbers 32 bytes on the size of the low input and level output buffers at 128. So let's receive the system exclusive data. So we're going to go to View, System Exclusive, bring that window up. Keep these two windows here so you can monitor what's coming in and out of the unit. Okay. So we're going to go to System Exclusive, Receive Manual Dump. Wait here. Don't click Done yet. Just leave it. We're going to go back to the unit, and we're going to move the dial where it says system. Look at the screen. Sending system dump. This is a very small system dump. It's not very big. There's not a lot of data in it. The other one will be bigger, the bulk one. So it says 2594 bytes received. Okay? Good. Now you can see the information here. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to Display Window. Okay, and save as. Now, I already made a folder here, so I'm going to go save it as system. Don't confuse it with the other one. So system, go ahead and save. Okay, close this off. We're going to go to View again, System Exclusive. And now you're going to go to System Exclusive, receive another manual dump, but this time it's going to be the bulk. So this is going to be a bigger one, and there will be a number on here that's very important. Make sure you understand that. So it says bulk. We're going to go ahead. And it says 93,816. Okay, that's the bytes that are going to be sent. So we're going to go back here. Now the bytes won't be identical, but they'll be very close to it. Okay. So here we go. This is going to take about maybe another 30 seconds or so, maybe 40 seconds to complete. Once it's complete, we'll save that window, and then we're going to actually output this back to the unit. So we're going to go ahead, wait a few more seconds for this to be done. And trust me, for your sake of your 2112, those buffers must be set properly. You don't want to have a crash on the unit and having to hard reset it, which then you have to figure out a way to put them back in there, which it still works, but make sure your buffers are set properly like I showed you before. 128 is the key number for this to work properly. Now, if you leave it at 256, the system will still go, the system dump, but not the bulk one. You're going to overwhelm the buffers on the unit. Okay, so we're almost reaching the end here. Okay, there you go. There we go, 93,818. Do you see that number? 93,318. That's what was there before. You'll be close to it. And the system went back to normal, so we're good. All right, so we have both saved. So now we're going to go ahead and save this window. So save as. We're going to put bulk. So this includes all the patches, okay, and everything in the system. So how do we send this back to the unit now? Well, you don't have to do anything on the unit now to send it back. You only have to do this to send it from the unit, to go to the menu. In order for you to send system exclusive to it, you don't have to be in any menu in the unit. You could be playing a patch, doesn't matter. So somebody can upload a patch, for example, remotely to the unit while you're playing on stage. Okay, it's very, very handy. So we're going to go ahead and send this. So we're going to close that window and open it again. Okay, and we're going to go to File and Send System Exclusive File. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I always do this one first. Don't send the bulk one, okay? Always send the system one to make sure that the system is okay in handling it, okay? The only problem with the system one is it works with the 256 buffer. So you might get confused why this one worked and the other one didn't, and the other one's not going to do it. So make sure those buffers, again, are set to 128, so you won't have any problems. So we're going to go with system first. It's the one I always do. And you can see here, it sent it to the unit, and it's still sending it. Okay, and it's over. Okay, so the unit went back to normal. The unit will go into a screen that says receive. You'll see a little icon with the MIDI that will appear on your screen. You'll know that MIDI data is being sent. So we're going to go back here. So that one went fine. And then we're going to go send system exclusive again, but this time we're going to send the bulk, which includes all the patches. And this one here, while it's sending, it'll take a few seconds. I'm going to take you here, very close to it, and you can see that the MIDI icon is there now. See, it says receiving bulk dump. Okay, there you go. And at the end, you should have your system data in the unit. And that's it for backing up your data. Okay, that's it. The data's in there, everything's backed up. Okay guys, now what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly go over how to transfer the single patches, since we already showed you the other way, how to do a whole system. Sometimes you don't want to transfer everything over, you just want to transfer a patch, because if you transfer back, you don't want the whole thing to be transferred back, because some of your patches might be overwritten that you edited on the unit itself, and when you transfer an old backup, it's going to overwrite it. Obviously, we don't want that. So that's why it's important to name the backup on the date, so that way you know not to send it out. Now we're going to go and transfer. Let's say I wanted to transfer a certain patch. You go to the utilities. It's the same procedure. You go to the menu here, and I'm going to take you to the system exclusive dump again section, because just to reiterate the point. So in here, there's nothing here until 8. Okay, now you see this here? Now here's a trick, okay, so that you don't mess up your patches. It says a system exclusive dump user program to program number. What happens is if I change this to 69, for example, here, okay, or 70, 68 wouldn't end up going to 70, okay? So don't do that. Make sure these numbers match. Okay, the reason why is very simple. Is because you want the user 68 to go back to 68, not 70 or any other number. Okay, this allows you to do that, but I don't agree with that. I think that it's better just send it back to the way it was. Okay, because if you send, let's say you send out patch 68 to an editor like the backup. Okay, now what happens if the number says 69? Well, it's going to come to 69 after when you receive it. Okay, so don't do that. So we're going to go back into another menu here, user default preamp. So there's really nothing else here that you need. It's only page 7 and 8 that you're interested in. Now, the page 6 is important, but not as important because this is set by default. Channel 1 is the one that you're supposed to be using, so the system exclusive channel. Another one that that might be important is the Midi channel 1. So watch out for that. I mean, that's like basic Midi knowledge. So it's sending out on Midi 1, and the receive is on 1, so it's using channel 1 to receive and send. So there you go. But anyways, this is how you do it. And there's a factory reset. You don't want to do that, obviously. Okay, and that page, and then we're back to page 1, which starts off with your stereo and mono section. So this is mono, and that'll be stereo. Okay, and that's it. Okay. So, if you were to send it, okay, we'll go back to page 6, 8, I believe that's it, 8. So what you do, system exclusive dump user program. So you would click 1, yes, and it would start sending it. The same procedure is done for the Vulkan system, so there's no differences here. You're doing the same thing in Midiox. You're just receiving the dump, and then you come here and send it. And to send it here, you don't have to use buttons, so remember that. The system receives without any interaction. It's just to transmit, you need to interact with the unit here, okay? But to receive, you don't have to do anything. So again, you click yes and send it. Make sure these numbers match. Okay, and that's it. Have a good day, and to me, this is still probably one of the best units that Digitech ever put out, including obviously the later revised 2120 with a better firmware. This unit has the firmware from the 2120, so it basically has the same features, which it expands the delays with more time, and it has a couple more effects that this one didn't have. So at any rate, have fun, and unfortunately, sadly, units like this are not made anymore.